Hey, it's Chuck here back with the Hawthorne Village Report for September 2011, and we do this every month, and my vision is that if obviously we don't have a chance to sit down in person, that you can watch this video and it's the next best thing to me being right there beside you. So the report itself, Hawthorne Village, there is more to it. If you know, there's the Vista phase up here. We try and keep it to the stuff that's more than 2 or 3 years old. There's more stability in the neighborhood, and just even in terms of the distribution that we do is through those mail routes. So the caution with this report that I always have is, you look at what's for sale, for example. It doesn't mean that that's the value of your home. There are lots of factors involved. There's competition, there's the most recent sale, there's all kinds of things to look at as being the way to establish the price of your home. So there's a lot of good information here, but it's not the whole story. So the average monthly selling price, this graph here has really done wonders for a lot of people in terms of planning. So we look at this a lot when we're looking at when's the best time to list a home. You almost work backwards from the date of closing of your next home, and we can kind of say, okay, what's the logical place to be? Now, in the month of August, we found that we were a little bit lower in terms of average sale price, and I believe that there's two factors that change this graph. The first one is, so if bigger homes are selling, that's going to push the average price up. And so we see in the spring double car garage homes, we see a lot more activity in the bigger homes, and that kind of peters off through the summer and also in the winter, whereas first-time buyers are more consistent across the board. And the second thing is that there is sometimes a real supply and demand issue, and so in August, typically, what we find is that there's less buyers, there's also less listings for sale. Now, anecdotally, what I found this August is it steamrolled right through. We had so much momentum from the summer. We had a lot of listings. We had a lot of buyers looking. A lot of deals actually happened. So I think that's going to continue through the fall, and then I think there's going to be a gentle round off through the Christmas season. Now, townhouses. Now, again, you can kind of look at these. The tendency most people tend to have, or like what most people do, is they look at the average price and they say, oh, well, it fell in May, or it was up 4,000 in August. You have to remember that this is subject to the kinds of townhomes that are selling at that time. If there's more big townhomes, it's going to push the numbers up. The real important stuff to look at from my perspective is the number of sales compared to the actives. And what this says is that if there was 100 townhomes listed, 68 of them would have sold. And in this case, it's the ratio between 32 and 47. Good percent of list. Again, that can fluctuate depending on how close the homes are listing to their true value. Average days on the market a little bit more. We look at semis straight across the board here. Bit of a kick up in terms of the number of sales. The activity in semis has gone up, and we've seen kind of a consistent 40 to 60% range of the detached homes that are selling, and again about that 98 to 99%, and a little bit lower days on the market too. Okay, so generally good news for all the markets. They're all pretty healthy. I mean, historically, if you think about it, I mean, it's almost like the Milton days on the market last month was 18 days. I mean, we're talking 3 months is a normal time frame to sell real estate in most markets in North America. So we're quite good. There's been a good year-over-year appreciation in Milton. The sales to actives is about 62%, which coincides well with the rest of the year. So we're in good shape. We've seen very positive things over the last couple months. Not all markets are the same. So the 3 to 400 range is a lot different than the 6 to 700 range, and we still find that the stuff over 700,000 very tough to sell, really. And I think what it comes from is there's a lot of buyers that say, do I need 3,500 square feet? Am I okay with 3,000? And we're starting to see that people are becoming more value conscious, and I think that's a good thing overall. I think that's a positive feature. Interest rates are the main thing on the horizon that could change prices. We've talked about this before, how small changes in interest rates can have big changes in pricing, and usually as the rates go up, the prices tend to go down, because what happens is the monthly payment is the thing that most people are concerned with, and it's not like your employer is probably coming to you saying here's a 50% raise, so you can't weather a 50% change if the interest rates go up, or most people can't. So I don't anticipate a lot of change in interest rates. I think the world still has a lot of sorting out to be done. We're talking about currency changes, all kinds of things happening that probably mean we're in for pretty stable times, at least for the next 6 months. So if you're on a variable, I think that's good news. But again, my crystal ball is probably just as cracked as anyone else's. So nobody can predict the future. And anyone who says they can, unless they've got Doc Brown's whatever, it's the ability to travel back in the past or in the future, then who knows. But anyhow, there's some people in here that we've helped along the way, and all of which have received the report, read it, contacted us and asked for help, and the same option is available to you. Really, when you're formulating your plan, you got to figure out what your home's worth. If you're buying and selling, you got to say, okay, what are my extra costs? You have to look and say, what can I do in my home that might leverage the money that I spend? So if I spend $1, I want to make $2 or $3, or I want to make it much easier to sell. So what to do in your home? We talk about some of the timing issues. There's all kinds of things to look at on a buy-sell, but especially just on the sell, there's still, there's 40 or 50 people involved. There's 100 sheets of paper that need to be signed. There's a lot of things that happen in the process. So I always say you want an experienced pilot flying your plane, and if there is turbulence, they're much better navigators through that stuff. So past the testimonials and the people we've helped, there's a section in here that shows you what's available. Again, don't take this as market value, because people can ask whatever they want, but it's what they sell for that really matters. And but it does give you a sense if you see the same model as yours. I mean, generally this stuff in Milton is listing within a few percentage points of what it should, and you can see some Croftside models here kind of listing around the 350s. You start to see the semis start to appear, in the sort of 350 to 4 range. There's a 1,700 square foot home right here at 384.9. Some of these are sold conditional. Very hard to find detached under 400 these days, so that's good news. Even some small detached. There's been 1,400 to 1,600 square foot detached in the new part, the Spirit homes, selling for like 430, so that's been a really positive thing. We look through here, we get into the 430s, we start seeing stuff 1,900 square feet. There's an 1,800 square foot for 459. It's been out for a little while. And we start getting up into the 5s. We start seeing a double car garage. This is a Quincy corner right here. There's been a great Quincy sale at just under 510 actually. So if you own a Quincy and it was a 3-bedroom, it was gorgeous. But that's good news for you. And we start to see a Sterling 2,100 square feet at $499. Some good double car garage stuff. A bit of a gap there. So sometimes when you're looking at listing, you can say there's really not much between 500 and 530 right now, and you can plug that hole and you can do really well. Okay, so we start getting into some of the 2,500 square foot homes in the sort of mid 500s, and then above 6 we got a bit of a logjam there at $599, and above 6, I mean that's a 3,000 square foot home for $619. Very competitive. It used to be you get 600,000 or 600,000. It doesn't get you as much home as that. This one here backs onto Forest. It's got a finished basement, I think 3,100 square feet at $619. So there's some real value picks, and it's really squeezing a lot of the guys up in the higher price ranges back down. So even above 650 we found is pretty quiet. Yeah, so there it is. That's a bit about what's available right now. If you want a little bit more information about what's been selling, or if you want to download this report or anything like that, go to hawthornevillagereportonline.com, and there's lots of great information. And just like I said, there's some next steps here. So the 3 best things that we as a team think you should be doing if you're thinking about listing your home in the future: get us over. We'll give you a pinpoint price analysis, and we'll even guarantee that the price we tell you will get your home sold in 60 days. Okay, so the room by room review is the next thing. So we'll come over, takes about an hour. We'll show you not only what you should and shouldn't do, but we'll also give you some options of, is it a must do, is it a could do, or don't do it. Because we have people all the time that say, Chuck, I'm going to do this, and I say, please, please, please don't do that. Because the minute you decide to sell your house, I always say it's no longer your house, it's now the buyer's house, and so you're catering to that audience. And the third thing is the silent market. We have 7,000 email addresses from buyers looking to come to Milton. We run a site called miltondailyhomes.com. We do a daily video review, and so we have a lot of people, a lot of stretch, at least a couple times a year. We're selling homes before we even list them because we've got all these people who have said, Chuck, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that at any given time. Signed buyers under contract, probably 20 to 40 with our team. So there's really good outreach there from what we do as a team. And so if you let us know a little bit more about your house, again, that's not something necessarily we have to come over for, but if you just email us, say, hey Chuck, this is the kind of home I've got, and we're thinking down the road, but if you hear of someone looking, that would be an ideal scenario. So anyhow, give us a call, send us an email, and that's this month's report. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Okay, have a great month. We'll see you next month.